at this problem, solve for x if on the bracket x raised to the power 2 minus 3 close bracket raised to the power 2 minus 5 on the bracket x raised to the power 2 minus 3 close bracket minus 14 equals to 0. Amen. It's not difficult. It's simple as ABC. Is that clear? I'm going to break this problem down for you to understand. I'll teach you. Is that clear? Okay. So let us look at it. X squared minus 3 all in bracket raised to the power 2 minus 5 all in bracket raised to the power 2 minus 3 close bracket minus 14 equals to 0. You know that without one telling you, this equation is equation that you can reduce it to a quadratic equation. Amen? Are you following? We can reduce this equation to a quadratic equation. How? Look into this bracket, these two brackets. You know that they are the same thing. The difference here is this first one, just like this is how it is. A all in square minus 5 all in A minus 14 equals to 0. You discover that this first bracket carries what? Power. That is just the difference. If not, they are all the same thing. Is that clear? So if you agree with me, how are you going to reduce this equation into a quadratic equation? That is what we want to look at. Since the bracket here, we have x squared minus 3. Here, the same thing. What you need to do, you now say, let P equals to what is inside this bracket, x raised to the power 2 minus 3. Is that clear? Okay. So if you agree with me, this implies that anywhere you see x raised to the power 2 minus 3 is P. Are you following? So now we are going to substitute in P here into this equation by writing P all in brackets raised to the power 2 minus 5 all in brackets P, because we said let P be equals to this, minus 14 equals to 0. Yes, this is, we know that if we open this bracket, we are going to have P raised to the power 2 minus, open this bracket, we'll have 5P minus 14 equals to 0. Amen? You can see that we have reduced this equation to a quadratic equation. So now we want to solve this quadratic equation. You know that it is not specified whether to use factorization method or completing the square method or formula method. Now we want to use factorization method to solve this quadratic equation. Okay. What we will do here is, if we want to use factorization method, what we will first consider, note that this is the sum and this is the product. Is that clear? This is the product. That is, if we have ax squared plus bx plus c equals to 0, this is the sum and this is the product. Is that clear? Are you following? So if you agree with me, what you will first consider, if I were you, try to consider the coefficient of whatever that is here, coefficient of p squared. Since we have p here. Coefficient of p squared is invisible one, true or false? So that means that we don't have any issue. So now, what we will do here is, since this is the product, it implies that we are going to look for two values that can multiply themselves. It will give us 14 here, and by the time we add them, it will give us 5 here. Is that clear? So now, what we are trying to do here, we are going to consider the sign too. Look at it here. The sum, we have minus 5, we have minus 14. We know that this is minus p here, 5p here. But let us look at it this way, that we have minus 5 and we have minus 14. So what we will do here is, since the sign has come to play, it means we are also going to consider the signs. Is that clear? So now, we know very well that either 7 and 2, if we use 7 to multiply 2, we will have 14. But here, we have minus here, true or false? And we also have minus 5. So what we will do here is, please listen very carefully. What we will do here is, let us consider the operation. Let us assume, okay, let 7 be negative and 2 be positive. Let us apply this procedure first, if it will work. If we use minus 7 to multiply plus 2, it will give us minus 14. Is that clear? Then let us add. Whether if we add, then it will give us minus 5. Let's see it. Minus 7 plus 2. We know that it will give us what? Minus 5. It means this axiom will hold. Is that clear? Minus 7 and plus 2. Are you seeing? Because if you look at this place, we have minus 14 and we have minus 5. Okay. But now, in this quadratic equation, we have a variable. The variable here is what? P. Is that clear? So since it is P, if I were you, because I want you people to understand, if I were you, since the factors are minus 7 and 2, it means use this variable to multiply these factors. Then you now add them. That is what I'm trying to say is this. It means it will be 7p and 2p. Is that clear? So what you need to do, you add the 7p plus 2p. You come and substitute it here to replace this 5p. Is that clear? So let us do it together. It means here will be p squared minus 7p, is that clear, plus 2p minus what? 14, which is equals to 0. Are you following? You discover that without one telling you, you discover that this is the same thing as this. Is that clear? This equation is the same thing as this. Are you following? So now, without loss of generality, we can bracket p squared minus 7p, close bracket, plus 2p minus 14 equals to 0. Is that clear? So, if you agree with me, let us ask ourselves this question. The first bracket, look at it very well. What is common in this first bracket? You know that without one telling you, p is common. So you bring p out, all in brackets, p minus what? 7. It implies that if you use this p to multiply out this bracket, you will still get back this. P squared minus 7p. True or false? Okay? So if you agree with me, what we have here, plus. What is common here? We know that 2 is common here. In this bracket, we have 2p minus 14. So 2 is common. True or false? Okay? So if you agree with me, we bring 2 outside, then p minus 7 equals to 0. Is that clear? Are you seeing what I am saying? Okay. If you agree with me, you know that without one telling you, this bracket and this bracket, are they the same or different? They are the same, right? Okay. So it implies that we are going to pick only one bracket out of these two, and these ones outside will now form another bracket like this one. So this implies that we will have this in this form, p minus 7 close bracket p plus 2. Is that clear? Which is equals to 0. You know, in quadratic equation, note that if we have AB equals to 0, this implies that our A is equals to 0 and B is also equals to 0. True or false? Is that clear? So now, without one telling you, know that this is our A and this is our B. Is that clear? That is what I'm trying to do. Are you following? Okay. So if you agree with me, this implies that p minus 7 is equals to 0. Is that clear? And p plus 2 is also equals to 0. Now, our p here, this first one, if this one passes the sign of equality, becomes plus 7. Then this, our p here, this plus passes the sign of equality, becomes minus 2. But note that the original question asks us to find x, not p. True or false? True or false? Okay? So if you agree with me, we stated that let p be equals to x squared minus what? 3. Is that clear? Let us recall. Note that p is equals to x squared minus 3. Amen? So if you agree with me, either we assume this one to be p1 and we also assume this one to be p2. So if our p1 is equals to plus 7, it means 7 is equals to x squared minus 3. Is that clear? So if you agree with me, it implies that we collect like terms here. So this will be, if we collect like terms, definitely it will be x squared equals to 7 plus 3. Because, okay, sorry, or we can rewrite this either this way, x squared minus 3 equals to 7, for the sake of malleance. Is that clear? So if this one minus 3 crosses the sign of this equality, it will now be plus 3. Is that clear? So if you add it together, this will be x squared is equals to what? 10. Then square root of 10, you square both sides, definitely our x is equals to plus or minus square root of 10. Is that clear? So now, what we will do here is we are going to look for p1, p2. Is that clear? So now our p2 is equals to, we also note that our p2 is equals to minus 2. So definitely here is minus 2 equals to x squared minus 3. Then this is the same thing as x squared minus 3 is equals to minus 2. We collect like terms. If we collect like terms, our x squared is equals to minus 2 plus 3. Amen. So here we are going to have x squared is equals to minus 2 plus 3 will give us 1. Then the square root of, we take the square root of this square root of 1 is, we take the square root, definitely it will be plus or minus 1. Then our x is equals to either plus 1 or our x is going to be what? Minus 1. Is that clear? Any question? If there is no question, no problem. Okay?